biggest grocery stores in America that disappeared forever due to competition from upstarts, razor-thin profit margins, and the changing retail landscape and consumer preferences across America. The businesses occasionally encountered unfavorable situations that were out of their control. In other instances, the grocers failed to adjust quickly enough to changing fashions or increased competition. Here are some of the renowned and once thriving supermarkets that have closed their doors for good in recent years. Waldbaum's. The supermarket business with its headquarters in New York offered a range of grocery items, including deli meat, dairy products, fruit, and frozen foods. It was successful in growing its clientele to include nearby states like New Jersey and Connecticut. Waldbaum's had a successful 115 years in operation before liquidity problems forced A and B to acquire it in 1986. The chain's official closure, along with that of its parent corporation, occurred in 2015. Ultra Foods. Ultra Foods is renowned for offering steep discounts that can be as much as 25% to 30% off of standard grocery prices. The 1980s saw the establishment of Ultra Foods, which today predominantly serves Chicago and northern Indiana. Eventually, it was increased to roughly 16 locations. Ultra, like many other bargain supermarkets, had to contend with a lot of tough rivalry. The last Ultra joined the well-known Strack and Van Til network with headquarters in Indiana in 2017. Marsh Supermarkets. For more than 88 years, this grocery company enjoyed great success in Indiana and Ohio. Dozens of stores spread out over the two states. With dozens of locations spread out over the two states, Marsh Supermarkets provided convenience and a wide range of outstanding products for its devoted clientele. The company's demise was hastened by the emergence of supercenters like Walmart. It also went out of business in 2017, closing all of its sites by July of that year. Number 4. Fresh and Easy. The American equivalent of Tesco, a major food chain in the UK, was Fresh and Easy. The grocery store network started locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada in 2006. Tesco had successfully adopted a cold chain delivery system for prepackaged meals in the UK, so in addition to selling groceries, the corporation also established one. However, American clients didn't particularly like the concept and didn't think the product was of very high quality. According to CBS Magazine, the delivery mechanism was unworkable due to the vastness of the United States. Moreover, the brand was unable to set itself apart from competing products, submitting a first bankruptcy petition in 2013. A year later, Yucaipa firms purchased French Ashkenazi, but that wasn't enough to preserve the grocery chain. In 2015, Fresh and Easy filed for bankruptcy once more, closing all of its locations simultaneously. Number 5. Genuardi's. The Genuardi family owns and operates Genuardi. The chain of supermarkets was established in 1920. After opening dozens of supermarkets across the northeastern United States, Safeway bought the company in 2000. And then things started to get worse. The following years saw a sharp fall in Genuardi sales, and all of its stores were shut down by 2015. Number 2. Double 8 Foods. Double 8 Foods, situated in Indianapolis, was a major business for the state, which was regarded as a food desert. The name was a reference to the chain's founding date of August 8th, which also happened to be the wedding anniversary of its owners, Elena and Isaiah Cooperstown. Unfortunately, Double 8 ran out of money in 2015, forcing the family-run chain to close. The Indianapolis Star spoke with a number of customers who were concerned about where they would be able to buy after that. By the end of 2016, all stores have been closed due to the owner's inability to find purchasers. Cash and Carry. The origins of cash and carry can be traced back to Tampa, Florida, where Italian immigrant Salvatore Greco started hawking produce on the streets. Over the years, Greco gradually expanded his business, switching from selling food on the street to doing it from a storefront in his house. And he already ran 9 stores by the 1960s. Cash and Carry had 117 stores at its peak. The chain was most known for its rapid service, which included establishing a new checkout lane if there were 3 customers in line to help hurried customers in and out the door. Lucky Shops acquired the grocery store in 1979, which ultimately made cash and carry a complete victim of its own success. It had excessive growth and competition from other grocery businesses. By 2007, there were no more cash and carry outlets. Henry's. Henry and Jazzy Boney launched Henry's in 1943. Just east of San Diego and La Mesa, a fruit stand served as the foundation of this grocery company. The business expanded so quickly that its owners were forced to sell the locations so they could manage another chain of convenience stores they were operating at the time. However, in the 1970s, their sons started Windmill Farms, which ultimately evolved into Boney's. In 1997, the brothers changed the chain's name to Henry's Marketplace in order to launch the Sprouts business in Arizona in the early 2000s. The Boney family sold Henry's to Wild Oats Market 2 years later. When Whole Foods acquired Wild Oats in 2007, it also sold Smart & Final the Henry's section. The Boney made a deal with the proprietors of Smart & Final that ensured the merger of Sprouts and Henry's. All Henry's locations eventually adopted the Sprouts brand in order for the Boney family to improve the company's competitive position. Victory Supermarkets. James Louis DiGeronimo and his two brothers started Victory stores in 1923, and the Massachusetts Bay store was in business for 81 years. Its name was special in that it honored American soldiers. More than 2,600 people were employed by the grocery store in 2000, which had dozens of locations and had roughly $385 million in revenue per year. But ultimately, the franchise came to an end in 2004 when it was sold to Hannaford Brothers Company. White Han Pantry. Unlike the other grocery stores on this list, White Han Pantry is not a full-service establishment. When it was at its height, White Han Pantry was admired for being a location that could essentially replace your trip to the food shop. The shop sold everything, including milk and juice, as well as deli items. 245 of White's establishments in the Chicago area and 55 in the Boston area were run by hand. After being sold to Clark Retail Group in 2000, it unfortunately started to decline. The main firm declared bankruptcy in 2003, which led to a number of transactions and acquisitions. The shop, which was still having trouble, joined 7-Eleven in 2006, and all of its remaining locations underwent rebranding. Hughes. Joseph Hughes established Hughes in the middle of the 1950s. Due to the owner's refusal to expand the business by taking on debt, merge with other companies, or make any operational adjustments, the company got off to a poor start. However, one of the chain's most notable breakthroughs is the fact that Hughes was the first supermarket to introduce fresh fish to its shelves, which other companies at the time weren't doing. Roger, Joseph's son, took over in 1982. The business became increasingly aggressive in seeking out chances to present additional Hughes locations. His plan worked really well, and Hughes expanded swiftly, becoming a billion-dollar business. Roger joined the firm in 1997 with quality food franchises held by Yucaipa businesses. An era for the grocery shop came to an end in 1999 when the surviving Hughes locations adopted the Roos's name. As large conglomerates dominate the market and squash small, regional, and mom-and-pop businesses, competition is becoming more and more fierce. We're going to see a lot more grocery store closures in the year to come, since only businesses that stand out will be able to survive in this market with those massive scale operations and reduced labor expenses. We wonder which chain will go out of business next after so many well-known retailers have recently closed their doors. And we'll keep watching our channel to see how this problem develops in the future. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below.